I'm Toni Reilly. Welcome to Wake Up Your Intuition, and in this class we're talking about clairvoyance and how that, in a sense, works. We're going to do a few exercises and practice techniques as well. So clairvoyance is seeing. It's seeing or clear seeing in your third eye, and it's probably the most talked about sense. Sometimes people refer to psychics as clairvoyant, and they are clairvoyant, but clairvoyance is actually one of the senses that they have which supports their psychic ability. With clairvoyance, images usually appear via the third eye or in your mind's eye, but for some it can be similar to seeing as we do in daily life with these eyes. Someone who has this sense is referred to as clairvoyant, and clairvoyant or this seeing sense can appear as a full vision, as in like you would in a dream or in an awake state, such as you might see your friend pulling up and parking in the driveway of your home in here. These images, some images can be shadowy or only appear as a brief flash just for a second. Images can also appear as shapes. So, literal shapes. A round shape might mean something to you. A square shape might mean a certain something to you. So shapes, maybe outlines, where in here you might see an outline of a person that appears to you to be male because they've got broad shoulders and curly hair, but all you can see is an outline. So that's another way that clairvoyance might work. It's all about getting to know how it works for you. The other thing that comes through the clairvoyant sense is colours. So you might see colours, and of course these colours resonate or have a meaning to you. So you'll be seeing a certain colour potentially to build your story or build your message. The other thing that you can see are symbols. So for an example, you might see a red rose in your mind. Suddenly there's a red rose, and you probably have an association with a red rose. So symbols is also something that we can see with our clairvoyant sense. You might also see still pictures, as in not necessarily a photograph, but still images like that, or your imagery might move, as in real life scenes, as if you're watching it or it's happening. So those are various ways that you can see. One thing I'd like to mention to you is that when you're working psychically, which means tuning to a living person's energy, the visions that you might see can be filtered through your frame of reference. So let me explain what I mean by frame of reference, or give an example to help you understand. So let's say that you're tuning to someone and you get a flash of a memory when you travel to a certain destination. Let's say in this case, we'll use London for the example. This is how you might receive insights for them. The person that you're tuned to might be from London. Maybe they're going to London. Maybe they have an opportunity in London. Or perhaps there's some association with London. Or alternatively, they might just be going traveling. So what happens then is it's up to your intuitive sense or senses to determine which it is. And you usually do get a feeling to back up your vision of what it means to them. So you might say something like, "Oh, I'm seeing London and I feel that you have international travel plans." So that might be how you present that information to them, or one way. So there we go, a little bit about clairvoyance. Now it's time for some exercises so we can put your clairvoyant sense to the test. For today's exercise, you can tune to me, but after this, I encourage you to practice with friends, colleagues, actually anyone who'll let you practice with them. And for today's exercise, you might like to take notes, and you can always comment in the comments and I can give you feedback. That's up to you. But remember always with our practicing with our senses is it is contrived when we're doing it in this setting, which is kind of different to if you're actually tuned to someone. So the reason I say that is I don't want you to get down on your ability or feeling not confident. It's a real matter of practicing and deciding, or not deciding, learning for yourself whether this is one of your strong senses. And it's not for everyone, but certainly to an extent we would have a little bit of it. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to tune. So I'm wanting you to close your eyes, and in your third eye, I'd like you to see what you get. So close your eyes now and tune, and I want you to get a vision of a particular food that I'm thinking of now. So allow this particular food or meal even to come to your mind. And I'd also like you to mention or pick up the origin of it, as in what style of food it is. So just take note of that. And we will move on to our second exercise. If I move too quickly for you, just go ahead and pause me until you've got your vision. For me personally, it comes instantly or almost instantly, but it doesn't for everyone. So it might be that you need to tune for a little moment and get what you get. Anyway, here we go. Second exercise. Again, because you're tuning to me today, you're going to tune for the type of car that I have and the color of it. So close your eyes and tune into that scenario, my car type and the color of it. And I want you to go with the first thing. Don't question it. The first thing that comes to you, or the first thing that you can see. Okay, next exercise. This exercise is quite simple. What I'm hoping is that you'll see the answer, but you might not. You might hear it and you might just know it. But what I'm wanting you to see, because we're trying to look with our clairvoyant capacity, see if you can see it. What I want to know is, tuning to me, dog or cat, as in which is my preference. As we're doing this, I'm sending it to you. I'm thinking about what my preference is so that hopefully it's stronger for you. Now, the next exercise it's very simple, but what I want you again to do is see it in your third eye. I want to know my favorite color. I'll send it to you. So what is my favorite color? Okay. You can let me know how you go, or note them down. What I'll do is I'll come back shortly and tell you the answers. Or maybe we'll just do that now. So let's go back to the first thing I asked you, which is what was the particular food that I was thinking of? And it was, or is, spaghetti bolognese. So if you saw that or any sort of derivative of that, yay. And of course, the origin of that food would be Italian. Let's go now. The type of car and the colour. I have a grey, or maybe we could call it silver, silvery grey Audi. It's actually convertible, but it's got a roof on it, so that comes back. So it might be that you saw a two-door vehicle. So that's the car type and the colour. And dog or cat? Dogs for me. And my favourite colour. My favourite colour changed over the years. It for the longest time was orange. But in the last couple of years it changed to be the most common colour, which is blue. So if you had either of those are my favourite colours, or have been my favourite colour. So just see how you went. If you didn't get any of them close, again, it's okay. We're testing. And if you saw anything when I prompted, then that's brilliant, because what we're trying to do is strengthen that visual clairvoyant capacity that you have. Now what I want to do is tell you a few exercises that you can do anytime to enhance your clairvoyance or to test yourself. So here's one. If you're out driving the car, I want you to take a moment to visualize the car that will be parked beside you when you reach your destination. So you might see that the car's going to be white, or it's going to be red, or whatever colour, or you might even see a specific style of car or vehicle. But that's just a simple thing that you can do to test this seeing ability. Here's another one that you can do. Visualize a colleague's partner, or you could perhaps do their pet. Of course, it's providing that you don't already know them. Then you could tune for what they look like. Then, of course, to follow up and check how you went, you're going to have to ask them if you can see a picture. So maybe you have to ask them, can you see a picture of their partner or their pet? So that's how you can check. There we go. Now, remembering always that the ideal to strengthen and continually build and strengthen your inner senses is that you meditate regularly. Now, that's why I created the SoulLife Wake Up online global development circle, which we're in now. It was especially to nurture and support you in developing your intuition. And remember, the side effect of all this stillness and meditation is self-awareness. So even better, another side effect is that you begin to feel really proud of what you're capable of. And it's really exciting. So remember that you're amazing. Meditate as often as your schedule allows. If you can manage a little meditation every day, please do. There are lots of meditations within our global circle or the Wake Up Circle platform. And of course, you can use music from elsewhere as well. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a little more intuition building with the SoulLife Philosophy cards. I'm going to shuffle them, and when I pull the card out, I want you to note the energy that you pick up from the card, and then I will give you what comes to me from the energy of the card. So here we go. This is the card for today. There we go. Let me hold it there a little bit longer for you. What you're going to do is tune to it. you look at it today, ideally, because we're doing clairvoyance. So look at it and see what beams out at you within this image and what comes to you from the image or the part of this image that's beamed at you. While you do that, I'm going to turn it around and see what's beaming at me. And then I'll tell you. Okay. This card is actually really beautiful, but today what it looks like to me is the foliage on either side of the water feels enclosing. So it might be that the energy of now, or for this coming month, which is what we're reading for, between now and our next class, is that you might be feeling a little bit restricted. If you do feel restricted in any way, then you can, if at all possible, get out in nature. And if you can't get out in nature just because of the state of the world at the moment, then it would be ideal if you can at least do that in your mind. So meditate on something that takes you walking through nature. Actually, I put up a walk that I took because I'm in rural at the moment on my parents' farm. So I took a film for 3 minutes of walking down a path in the Australian bush. So it's something that you could look at and daydream to or meditate to. But if you actually can get outdoors, do so. Just so that you're not feeling so closed in. So there we go. And I really be interested to know what you got from intuitively from this card. In fact, Coco's here with me. I'm going to ask her. Coco, can come over? And this is the card. Come sit with me for a minute. Yeah. That's the card. What do you get from it? Do you see it can take a little time for something to drop in when you're using the cards to read? Oops.
Okay, I think I got something. So if you guys can all see this card in the kind of mossy bush here and on the left and right of the card, I see that, and that's what I was drawn to first in the card, what came out at me. And I think it's, at the moment, everything, if we're at home or fairly isolated in whatever areas, even if you're still at work, it'll still be work or home. I think it's just about really immersing yourself around where you are, whether that be home. So like spreading yourself out, embracing it, even whether it's in every single room, in your lounge room, bedroom, kitchen, just making the space yours, make it a nice space, really enjoy this time at the moment as a bit of a forced break or a recharge, I believe. And yeah, that's it.
That's really interesting, because I pulled a card earlier for the guidance for the week, for the Wake Up group, and that pretty much was the message. So that's good. Since I've got Coco here, I'm going to put her to the test, and we're going to pull some cards. And what you can do is just know that you can do these exercises with somebody. So I'll just show you how easy it is to use cards. All right, so Coco, you pick a card. And that's going to be for you. And I'll pick a card, and this one can be for me. And then what we'll do is swap. So what I'll do is get a message for you from the card that you chose, and if you can do the same for me, I'll just show you the card that Coco's pulled for herself, and I'll also describe to you how I get what I get, but I'm just take the card back for a moment and let me get something. Can I butt in over you and tell you what? You just have to wait to get yours. So the way I'm seeing this is, can you see it's a palm tree, but it looks dead, and it may be dead or it's been burned, and there's this, it's kind of stuck with this rock around it. But out here is all this incredible light, vibrant looking foliage. However, that's not necessarily what inspired my message. As soon as I turned the card around, my message for you was stop. Stop. It's almost as though anything that has been an obstacle, this message for you, anything that's been seen as an obstacle and maybe made you feel disappointed, or like, you know, it's been annoying, then the thing is, all of these things that have happened were to stop you, and I feel like it's preparing for something better, because then my eyes are drawn to this is in front, so that's the future, and my feeling is that it's also soon, so within a few weeks. So for now, I guess it's what you said with your message a moment ago. It's like immerse yourself in what's going on now. And if any of you all can relate to this message, you take it too. Okay, Cokie, what did you get?
Okay, so I've got the 8 emotion seeking card. This might sound a bit cliche, but I see my eye was drawn to this tiny hole here, or I suppose light, and I literally got there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I see, obviously there's this water here, which I see as maybe a few steps, and we might get, when you step into water, you maybe like feel it, get stuck in it for a moment, and then take your next step. So just for the moment we're in here, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it might be towards the end of this forced period of break, but it will come maybe in the next 6 months or so.
Excellent. Thank you. So when you're doing your exercises, or if you're practicing with someone, then just know that sometimes you'll get one word, and sometimes you get a story. Sometimes if you just go with the flow with it, you'll keep talking until the message stops. So don't put pressure on yourself because someone tells a long message, because some of us only get short ones. So they're all good, or they're all as it's meant to be. So there we go. Thanks, Kogi, for doing clairvoyant exercises with us. And the next class in Wake Up is clairaudience, which is the hearing sense. And we will talk about how it works, and we'll do some exercises and practice techniques as well. Remembering, like I always say, self-awareness is the ultimate activism. See you soon.